Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the car boot crafter, and welcome to today's day 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. I've recorded this several times, so I've got my fingers crossed that this time it works. So this is what today's mates are. We're making these lovely little cute little Christmas cards. So you've got the 4 envelopes on the front and your greeting, matte and layered. And inside the card we've got just a simple insert in there. This one is made using the paper pad from the works, which it's just called paper pad, there's nothing in there, and they're double-sided papers which are really cute. And then the one that we're going to use this time is this one, and again it's just called paper pad and it's from the works. And that motorbike always makes a racket. And inside more double-sided papers which we're going to use. Okay, you can use double-sided or you can use single-sided, it's entirely up to you, but if you do use single-sided, with whether you decide to leave them open, I've left just the one on each side open and I've glued these ones down, but if you leave any of the others open, then I would just ink inside just so that it gives it a little bit more character rather than it being just rather stark. You can leave any of them open. I've left just that one with the greetings open, but you can leave any of them open if you want to put any other greetings. So you could have happy birthday in this one and then daughter in that one, or something like that, just to give it a little bit more personalisation. You can also leave the pockets open and push the message down, so there's like a secret message in one of the pockets if you want to as well. That's another idea, but let's get on and show you how we made it. So let's pop those to one side. You will need, let me just grab my little bag of goodies. So you will need a base card. So I'm using these from Jelly Bean Crafts, and these are 6x6 scalloped edge cards in the Kraft paper. So it doesn't, you can use whatever you like for your base, it's entirely up to you. And if you want to use different colours, that's entirely up to you as well. So 6x6 base, then you'll need an insert, and I've already pre-stamped on there my greeting, and that the insert is 15 by 15.5, just because what I want to do is buffer it up to there so that I get a nice even border around those 3 areas. If I wanted to glue it all down, I'd probably do 15 by 15 because I wouldn't buff it all the way up to that edge, and I would just glue it right in the middle. So that's your insert and your card base. You'll also need a red piece of card which is 15 by 15 centimetres or 6 by 6 inches. A dark brown card which I've used to stamp off because I've second generation stamped on there. A second piece of card which is 15.5 by 15.5 or 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Then you've got your top card which is 14 by 14 centimetres or 5.5 by 5.5 inches, and that gives me a nice little border all the way around. And as you can see, this is a zigzag stitch stamp, which what I've done is I've second generationed it. So I've stamped onto the back of this one because this is going to be glued down, you won't see it. So I've stamped onto the back of there and then stamped across to there. So inked it up on there and then over onto there, so that it's not quite as dark and stark as it is on that one. And I will glue it down like that. If I was posting these abroad, or if I wanted to save on my card, I would most definitely gut these 2 back pieces. And gut simply means cutting out the centre of the card, making sure that I still get that border all the way around. So I might go in about 1 inch or 1/2 inch on each side, and just cut that out. Same on that one, and then that one would cover all of that gutting. So those are your layers. You'll also need a piece which is going to be your message, and as you can see, I've already pre-stamped this as well. So this is 4.5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, which in inches is 1 3/4 by 2 inches. On that, and depending on what messages you want to put, you'll need 1 or 2 or more of those. So just a word of warning, if you are going to put it at an angle like I have on these ones, let me just grab one. What I found was if I stamped right in the middle of the card, it meant that my jaunty angle there, I would lose some of the words. So look very carefully at your stamp, and then if, like mine, it's almost as wide as the paper, I've just stamped slightly to one side so that when I put it in my card, it'll go at an angle like that. Okay, so let's pop that down. You will also need 4 sheets of patterned paper, which are 9 centimeters by 9 centimeters, which is 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And for purpose of demonstration, I'm going to do it on some white card, which I've already cut, just so you can see what I'm doing and why. So let's make the envelopes first. So if I grab my bone folder. So what I found was I have got this, let me just manoeuvre it out of its hidey hole. I have got this, which is great for punching and making my own envelopes, but what I have found is that what you cut out here is far too large, so it would really go, it really made a big difference, and the envelopes just didn't look right. If you've got one of those little dinky ones, and I've seen them for sale, which are exactly the same, but they cut out a smaller triangle there, then by all means go ahead, and in that case it would be so this is 9 centimeters, so you would go across to 4.5 centimeters, or 1 3/4 inches would be your halfway mark. So you would go across to there on your first one, and then carry on from there. But if you haven't got one, or you haven't got a small one, this is the way that I do it. So using my scoreboard, it doesn't matter which one you use, I'm going to find a point. So I'm going to use my number 4 on here because it's roughly in the middle of this little one. Doesn't matter which one you choose, but I'm going to use my number 4. So this is my number 4 score mark here. Lots of people will have got a permanent marker and put a middle score mark down the middle so that they can tell, but I haven't got a permanent marker, so I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to put my score tool in my number 4 channel, and I'm going to bring it down to the bottom. I'm then going to bring my 9x9 piece up, and I'm going to put this corner, I'm going to pop it right in line with that number 4 channel there. And then I'm going to bring this bottom piece across, so I know this is my number 4 channel, so I'm going to bring it across to there. So now I know I've got that corner and that corner well into that 4-inch channel mark. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to go across 1 inch. Doesn't matter. So if I was at 3, I'd be going to 4. I'm at 4, so I'm going to 5. Doesn't matter, just move 1 inch along. So there, takes me to 5. So 1 inch, and then from that inch, I'm going to go 1/8. So you're going 1 inch and 1/8 away from that corner there. So 1 inch, 1/8 is that channel. So that's 5 1/8, and I'm just going to bring my score tool down and score it all the way through. And I'm just going to repeat that 4 times. So I put my bone folder in, bring it up, pop my point in the 4, bring this point down to the 4 channel, come back up to the 5, so across 1 inch and 1/8 and score, and do that again and turn my card around, pop that in the 4, bottom in the 4, up 1 inch and 1/8 and score, turn my paper, bring down so I'm in my 4, pop that in, and I always go with 4 just because it stays with me. So across 1 inch and 1/8, and then that's what you get once you've scored all 4 signs. You just pop that there. Now I've got a black pen somewhere. Yeah, this is a dry white marker, so this will do. So what I've done is I've scored all the way down like that on all 4 sides. Okay, so I've got that, and you can see now we've got the little triangles on all 4 of the sides like that. So I'm going to get my scissors, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go a little bit further along. So if I can get my pen, I'm going to start here, so a little bit up, about 1/8, maybe 2/8 of an inch away from the bottom of that score line, and I'm going to cut from there right up to this point here where these 2 lines. So I'm going to cut away that part, and then I'm going to do exactly the same this side and cut away that part. So I'm cutting away a triangle that is bigger, wider than this triangle, but is as high as that triangle. And what that does is that when you then fold your papers over like that, it means that this doesn't interfere with the fold. So up that side and that side like that, and that gives me that sort of a wedge, and I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. So up, so just slightly bigger than the score line. I want to get rid of the score line completely, and I'm going to fold up just above where those score lines meet in the middle there. So I've gone all the way around like that, and then I can fold up my envelope. So fold one in and the other in and the top, and I've now got a envelope. Okay, so let's do it on the patterned paper. I'm only going to do it once because I've already got them pre-done. So this is my patterned paper. So again, I'm going to use my number 4. You can use whatever you like, but I'm going to put my score tool in that number 4, bring it down on the channel, putting the top of the paper in at the number 4 and the bottom lining it up with the number 4 channel. There we go. And then I'm going to score 1 inch and 1/8 and score all the way down. I'm going to do exactly the same again. So I'm going to bring my score tool down. I'm going to twist my paper, pop it in the 4, line it up with that 4 channel, go across 1 inch and 1/8, find that channel, and then score all the way down. Twist my paper, put my score tool in, bring it down. Of course, you don't have to do all of this if you've got a permanent mark on your score tool, your scoreboard. If you've already got that there, then all you would need to do would be to twist your paper, pop it into the middle line, and then you'll be able to find it, because this would be marked down the bottom here. Unfortunately, until I can get myself a permanent marker, which I did have one, but I can't think what I've done with it. So lined it all up so I know that both of those points are in the number 4 channel, go across 1 inch and 1/8, put my score tool in and score all the way down. Now I can put my scoreboard away. And you're going to do that with all 4 of the 9 by 9 centimetres, or 3.5 by 3.5 centimetre, 3.5 by 3.5 inch sheets of patterned paper. So cut all 4 of those away. It doesn't have to be exact, just make sure that you go slightly beyond, about 1/8 of an inch or 2/8 of an inch beyond where the score mark is, just so that you're making sure that you're, what we don't want is to cut directly on that fold line. Okay, so I've done all 4 now. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring in my corner rounder. Now this is a narrow corner rounder. There's different widths, but this is corner round, just very gentle, just a narrow corner like that. Okay, and I'm just going to do that on all 4 sides like that. Okay, so this is my other 3. If you have got directional paper, do make sure that you think about how you are folding up, which ones you bring in first and which ones the top and which ones at the bottom, because otherwise it can look a bit odd if you've got Christmas trees upside down or baubles the wrong way round. Now this is going to be the one that I'm going to keep open, so I'm going to have a look now. Because this is directional paper, I want my birds and stockings to be the right way. It's a bit of a jumble. It's not especially directional. I could get away with it, but I'm going to be careful. So I'm going to make sure that this one is my top flat. Now there will be a flap, there will be a slight angle, that tree and the bird, but it won't be so bad as to if I had them the wrong way round. So I'm going to bring in the 2 sides, and I'm going to glue using my just regular PVA. So I'm just going to put a bead of glue there just to hold those 2 flaps shut like that. And then I'm going to, because this goes all the way, because it's a square card, this flap doesn't go above the 2 side pieces, so I can go all the way around on this one. So I think my glue's gone quite gloopy at the minute, which is why it's being a bit stubborn about coming out of the bottle, even though I've got my bottle stopper there. Okay, so just going to make sure that's all smoothed down. If you've got any bits that are sticking out or not right, you can come back in and just trim them again. Okay, so that's them done. So I'm going to leave them to dry. I'll pop them over there. They should dry well enough. Let's put that back in there because I want to keep that open. Okay, so let's start assembling. So first thing I want to do is do my layers. So I'm going to do these 3 first and then pop them on the card. So, oh, I'll need my glue again. There we go. So I'm going to glue all the way around and glue them together. Simple as, just using by eye for my measurements, which is very simple to do. Ooh. Gone gloopy again. Why does it do this when I'm recording? There we go. That should hopefully sort that out. If not, I'll swap to my other one. There we go. No, that's not working, so let's use the clear PVA, which doesn't seem to gloop up as much as the white PVA. I don't know whether that's just me or whether it's, I don't know, maybe it's the temperature I keep them at or something. Maybe. Or maybe it's just me imagining it. Who knows? So there's the top one done. So I'm just going to line that up, as I say, by eye. And the good thing about using wet glue is that if you're not happy, you can reposition or slide it over a little bit. And that's why I used it as scrap, because you won't now see the back of this because I'm going to glue it onto that red card. I don't know whether I just overkill on glue. I don't know whether anyone else is the same, but I do tend to use a lot of glue. Let's pop that down. I'm sure if I only did the edges and a little blob in the middle, it would probably do just the same, but I can never feel like it would. Right, let me just, using by eye, just feels like that's a little bit lopsided there. Hold on. There we go. I think that's about, yeah, that looks good. And bring in my card and do. And you can, I mean, I'm using three layers, but you know, if you want to use one or two, feel free, or if you want to use more, that's fine too. It is your creation. These are just suggestions and ideas, aren't they? So and these are my favourite Christmas colours, the reds, and I do like the Kraft card at Christmas as well. But you know, use whatever colours you like, or whatever colours you've got to hand. There we go, all glued down. So I want to rub it from the back so that it is all spread out. So there we go. So now we get to the final bit, nearly there, is now deciding which way round you want to lay out your cards. Oh, that's not glued very well down that side, so I'm just going to put a little bit. Oh, now the PVA is working. So now you just decide how you want your cards laid out, and if you want them, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal these. I'm going to seal 3 of them. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue right at the top of that flap. This way I'm going to create a little bit of a shadow, because only the top is glued down, so that there's still a little bit. So grab that, so you can still get under there, look, and it creates a bit of a shadow which makes the envelope look more like an envelope. So I'm going to have to grab my bone folder, because I haven't folded these before. I have to fold that down because it's fighting against that glue. So let's get the glue. Oops. I'm going to glue it down. So what I want to do then is line everything up so it's all quite square when I line them, when I glue them down. So I'm going to try and get that quite square into that corner, like that. That looks quite square to me. There we go. And I'm going to pop that on there, hold that down while I put some glue. Now this is the one I want to put my message in. So I'm just going to glue this one down. Let's fold that over like that. Put a little blob of glue on the top flap there. Bring that down, and then while that's gluing, I'm going to glue the back over like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the one I've already stuck down, and I'm going to line up the edge of this card with the edge of that one, whilst also looking to the top to try and make sure that it doesn't, it's quite square in that corner. So that lines up beautifully, and that's quite squared at the top. So if you want to do a zigzag stitch, if you've got a stamp, then great, but you don't have to put anything around the edges like I have. You can, or if you want to, you can use your pen, and I really like the dot dash look, or even just hand drawn lines can look really good on the edges, can't they? So let's put a bit of glue on there, like that. Glue that down and put some glue on the back. And again with this one, I'm going to be lining it up with the edge of the card that I've just put, the envelope that I've just put down. So looking at that line there, and I want to put it along here on that line, whilst also looking to this edge and try and square it up. There we go, I think. That looks about right. Pop that on. Pop that on there. And then the same with this one, only I'm not going to glue my flap down. I'm going to leave that unglued. Actually, before I do that, what I want to do is to pop my greeting in. So I want to put it at a jaunty angle like that. So let's get some glue on the back of it. I'm only doing the bottom half of it because I'm not sure whether it's where it's going to be when I pop it in, which angle it's going to be at. So let's slide that down, bring that across like that. Make sure I can see the whole of the greeting, and when I'm happy, I'm going to get my bone folder, just squish it all down, and I'm going to glue. Now I'm only going to glue in this square here, because what I want is for the top to be free, just to give it a bit more depth to it. Okay, and I'm going to line this edge here up with this edge here, and this edge here with this edge here. So got to look all the way around. Just move that out of the way a minute. Move that over a little bit more, like that. There we go. Now I'm putting mine on quite square. If you want to put yours on at an angle, you can. You could twist it and put it at a slight angle in that corner. That would look quite fun actually, I think. Just ever so slightly. That's what I like about the wet glue. You've still got a little bit of wiggle room, and that's the outside. And leave them to glue down a minute while I do the inside. So I've got my piece and I'm going to glue it in. So this is my 15.5 and this is my 15 edge. And what I want to do with this is I want it to be quite free. So I'm just going to put glue along the back on, so this edge here. So you can of course glue it all down, it's entirely up to you, but I quite like them when they're free. I just think it just adds that little bit of depth to the inside. So I'm just going to buff it up to there, lay it down, and when I'm completely happy, I'm going to use my bone folder just to push the glue into the card. And there we go. Now, it's not quite dry there, but I'm going to carry on. I'm going to bring in some gems just to add a little bit of bling on the front of the card. Still recording, that's good. So using my pokey tool, I'm going to stick these on. I only need 3 because that one is up, so I'm just going to stick them on that corner there just to give it a little bit of depth on there. Oops, sometimes think these are alive the way they jump. If you wanted to, you could get one and put it on the corner of the greeting, although I think I'd probably use a smaller gem than these ones here. Hearts would look great if you had heart-shaped gems, or even teardrops would look quite good on there. Unfortunately, I haven't got any of them in the red, and I really wanted the red. I've got pink, but the pink, when I put it against it, didn't look so good on the paper. And there we go, a nice, easy, quick to make, but I think quite an effective little card. So yeah, I would love it if you would comment below, tell me what you think of the card, and if you're new to my channel, I would really love it if you would join by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.